All right, what's going on, Sooner Nation? It is fall camp season. So, as we talked about the other day, that means propaganda galore. And if you needed a reason, even more of a reason to be excited for Oklahoma football outside of what we talked about the other day, tight ends are probably the talk of the town at the moment. As listen, the media has had a chance to go attend practices, scrimmages, and it sounds like, and it looks like from some of the videos that are being taken, that tight ends could be potentially on the rise at Oklahoma once again. And there could be a notable face in that tight end room that could be emerging as tight end one. So, of course, we got to talk about it. We got to discuss it. Before we do that, though, as always, I want to hear from y'all. Join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you're new to the channel, this is where I ask you to hit that like and hit that subscribe button so that you're not missing out on any of this content centered around OU football. Now, before we get started, I do want to say that we're going to be doing some giveaways throughout the season, throughout fall camp, and we're going to be specifically doing giveaways around autographs. Now, the first one that I'm going to be giving away, we'll probably let this run for about a week or so, is a Dion Burks autographed first Bowman card. So for those of you who know me, you know I love to collect trading cards, and Dion Burks has a first Bowman. This is actually a licensed product with the Oklahoma Sooners on here. Before, they didn't used to be licensed, but this is an auto. So I will be giving this away. All you need to do is comment in the comments, make sure you're subscribed, and hit that like button. I will be announcing the winner probably next Monday. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that, and I'll contact the winner to be able to give this away. Obviously, every single video, the more that you like the videos, the more that you jump in the comments. That's the big one. The more chances you'll be entered in a giveaway to win one of these. And we'll do other ones. I think I've got a Dylan Gabriel somewhere that I'll be giving away as well, and some others. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. All right. So tight ends. This was an interesting room coming into the season for the Oklahoma Sooners because there was a lot of unknown and a lot of questions around who could potentially be tight end one for Oklahoma. You had the news that Jiren Canick was switching over from the linebacker room to potentially play like a tight end, maybe like an H-back role, it feels like. And with his athleticism, I didn't hate the idea. And let me tell you, based off some of the videos and some of the things that you're hearing, whether it's from Brent Venables, Ben Arbuckle, or anybody else in the media, it sounds like the tight end room could potentially be on the rise. Now, one of the names that we've heard quite a bit out of the tight end room, and one that I think Oklahoma fans are definitely going to be a little bit more excited for, is Kaden Helms. Kaden Helms has been a guy that been in Oklahoma for a while, but really just hasn't been able to have a healthy season and be able to put it all together here. Kaden Helms, man's looking good. And if you notice right here, running a really clean route, running past his defender here. And this has kind of been the consensus coming out of the summer, coming into the fall camp. Kaden Helms has absolutely put in work to put himself in a position to get quite a few snaps. Now, if you guys remember, we talked about Kaden Helms the other day after Ben Arbuckle had his press conference, which was that he felt like, he wasn't here for a lot of the Kaden Helms injuries. And so, a lot of that stuff does not play a factor into Ben Arbuckle looking at Kaden Helms and trying to get him touches and get him on the field. So the big question is can Kaden Helms stay healthy? If Kaden Helms can stay healthy throughout the entire season, throughout fall camp, then I would imagine Kaden Helms is probably going to roll out there in a starting role for Oklahoma within the first 2 weeks at some form or manner. Kaden Helms is just a versatile tight end. He was a 4-star out of high school, out of Bellevue, Nebraska, at 6'5", 238. This can be a guy that can really do it all for you. There's a lot of tight ends in this room that, they're really good at one thing, but Kaden Helms he can be a Swiss Army guy. He can block for you. He can catch balls. Obviously, you can see his route running ability here. So really excited to see Kaden Helms be able to do this. And last year, he caught a touchdown for Oklahoma, which there weren't very many people that could say they caught a touchdown for Oklahoma in the offense last year. So really excited to see what we're going to be able to get from Kaden Helms. But other video here from some other guys like Carson Kent and Jiren Canick. And this is important, right? Because obviously we have Jiren Canick, who is coming over from the defensive side of the ball. A lot of people might not know what to expect from Jiren Canick. But then you've got Carson Kent. And I remember when we got Carson Kent, there were a lot of people really down on Carson Kent. He came from a smaller school, but at 6'4", 247 pounds, last season had 18 receptions for 217 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's better than I think any tight end at Oklahoma in the past 2 years. So if Carson Kent can just come back to Oklahoma and replicate that production, which you would imagine John Mateer is going to be able to find him a little bit more. And, Carson Kent looks like a guy that, although maybe he could, work on his foot movement a little bit, he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to bully people around a little bit. And then obviously just being able to see Jiren Canick and his athleticism. This was a guy that when I was at the Brent Venables camps, I got a chance to see John Mateer and Jiren Canick kind of running some routes, throwing the ball to him a little bit. And it looked pretty good. It looked pretty solid. So it looks like they're continuing to work together. And I think Jiren Canick could be an absolute underrated piece for Oklahoma going into the season at the tight end position. So kind of looking at what Oklahoma's got there, I really like where Oklahoma currently sits. You definitely maybe want to see a guy like Trene Washington, who is a true freshman, but definitely has size and athleticism at 6'4", 250 pounds, be able to come in and maybe make an impact for you in the second team and be a guy that can continue to develop really well. So watching what's going to happen there, but I think the big news and seeing a lot of these videos and hearing what Ben Arbuckle has talked about is it feels like Kaden Helms is finally putting it all together. And as long as he can stay healthy, that's going to be a guy that's going to contribute for you on the offensive side of the ball and somebody that Oklahoma can actually count on, which has not been something that I think we've been able to have at the tight end position. Now, lastly, there was an interesting video that came out here with John Mateer and Michael Hawkins. And now this doesn't necessarily fall into our tight end segment, and we might talk a little bit more about this at a later date, but John Mateer tossing the ball or catching the ball from Michael Hawkins here. Are we going to see a little bit of an action where our quarterback is going to be playing wide receiver? Not quite sure what's going on there, but looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Gives me some flashbacks to Baker Mayfield, where I think they tried this with Baker Mayfield a couple times where he would roll out and be able to catch a pass in the end zone. So it'll be a lot of fun to see if we can see anything there. But yeah, I think we had one with Jackson Arnold last year too, where Bauer Sharp just completely missed it. But I don't know. That was just, I just want to forget last season. So I want to hear from y'all. A lot of this looks really exciting. You guys know I'm here for the propaganda that Oklahoma football and the media team is pushing out. So jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Remember, we're giving away this Deion Burks autograph first Bowman card. So make sure you guys are tuning in, jumping in the comments so that you guys can have a chance to win that. And yeah, we will see you on tomorrow.